Good morning, all. This is an update. It's Monday, 27th, Freedom Day. Spot the irony. It's 5 to 9 right now. I wanted to share with you, we've been working all of Saturday and Sunday, compiling a submission to send into the Command Council with respect to having real estate reclassified as a level 4 service versus a level 2. The best way is just for me to read this to you, so apologies for looking off camera, but it's just so you can understand what we are sending in today. We would like to commend the President and the National Command Council on the outstanding work being done under severely difficult circumstances. South Africa is currently a shining light for many nations on how to deal with this pandemic effectively. As mentioned by the President and various ministers, there is a unique balance that must be found between containing the risk and spread of the virus and the need to reignite the economy and the fiscus. Minister Patel reiterated that various factors were taken into consideration in determining the risk rating of each sector. In this respect, we refer to the Risk-Adjusted Strategy for Economic Activity paper that was published on or about 22nd of April 2020. It was recently announced by Minister Patel and subsequently released on 25th of April in a document entitled Schedule of Services Framework for Sectors that real estate activities would be classified as a level 2 sector. We write to you today to appeal for the reconsideration of real estate as a level 4 professional service with further directives and regulations that would apply to the industry as outlined below. Category Risk of Transmission. According to the Risk-Adjusted Strategy paper, real estate activities scored an overall rating of 10, that is medium risk category. We address some of the criteria that were used in establishing the risk below. 1. Ability to screen employees. We can ensure that all real estate agents be temperature screened at real estate offices. Regulations can be made to implement compulsory staff health screening, observe stringent personal and client safety measures such as masks, sanitizing of hands and vehicles, and physical distancing. We would accordingly have the ability to identify and isolate ill employees. 2. Ability to enforce social distancing of 2 meters. It is our view that the risk of infection when dealing with an estate agent is low, as social distancing rules can be applied absolutely. 3. Real estate as a professional service. It is our view that real estate should be classified as a professional service. The Estate Agency Affairs Board requires all estate agents to complete a professional designation examination and maintain continuing professional development in order to be issued with and keep their Fidelity Fund certificate. This is a professional certification endorsed by the government. 4. Percentage of employees who use public transport. Almost all estate agents use their own private transport. It is one of the very first questions and requirements when an estate agent is appointed. Administrative staff are more likely to use public transport, and we therefore suggest that they be treated and classified differently. We accordingly request that a distinction be made between professional real estate services, that is an agent with a Fidelity Fund certificate, and other real estate activities, that is administrators and support staff in the real estate field. 5. Percentage of employees who must cross provincial borders to start work. There is no need for cross-border services to be provided in real estate. Agents have always referred clients to other agents that are located in the relevant city or province in which the service is required. When the risk ratings in the Risk-Adjusted Strategy paper are considered, we are of the view that real estate should be lowered to a rating of 4. Now bear in mind, we were rated as 10. If you want to know what I'm referring to here, you'd need to look at that risk-adjusted plan that was sent out just under a week ago by the government, and it was on their webpage. So those are specific risk transmission categories that they use to rank your sector. Right, next section, because there are 3 sections they look at. It's the economic value of the industry and the economic stress your industry finds itself in. So part 2, economic value of the industry. Real estate is unquestionably a multiplier and enabling industry. During the 2007 and 8 financial crash in the United States, it was real estate that led the economy out of the recession and back to economic health and prosperity, and we believe that this sector can assist South Africa in doing so again. According to the Quarterly Financial Statistics Report for December 2019, released by Stats SA, the real estate industry is a significant contributor to the South African economy and as such to the tax base. In September 2019, real estate contributed 11.2%, and in December 2019, 11.5% as a percentage contribution to total turnover. And then we provided them with the facts and the table from Stats SA. Real estate in isolation contributes about 5% of South Africa's GDP and has approximately 42,000 people that work in the residential real estate sector. There are many other organizations, industries, and businesses that rely heavily on real estate sector to trade. The importance of the real estate industry in providing liquidity in the market cannot be overemphasized. Property to the value of 20 billion rand registers in the deeds office every month. This creates much needed liquidity in the market for buyers and sellers. We understand that governments around the world are trying to inject much needed liquidity into their markets in order to help the economy through this crisis and on the road to recovery. We believe there is no better industry than the real estate sector to assist in creating enormous liquidity in a short time, especially for the millions of property owners in South Africa. This can only happen if real estate agents are allowed to market and sell property. This would allow property owners to trade their biggest asset and unlock much needed capital to fund business activities. A home is very likely to be the biggest asset that a person will own, and many business owners that are under financial strain may look to sell their property in order to generate funds to sustain their businesses. Under the challenging economic climate, many homeowners would no doubt be looking to downscale to cheaper properties, and the quicker the real estate sector can assist with this, the better. Many first-time home buyers are waiting to buy property and move into more secure houses with their families. First-time home buyers make up about 50% of the market. We also understand that there are many real estate investors that would like to sell and buy property at this time. Real estate agents can assist them to do so quickly. There are about 10,000 mortgage bonds that register in the deeds office monthly. These mortgage bonds fund a very large percentage of the liquidity that can be injected into the economy. The construction and property development industries rely heavily on the real estate sector to generate sales. Many other ancillary services also rely on real estate, from garden services to electricians, from plumbers to inspectors. Many of these service providers are self-employed in small businesses with very little capital to sustain them for a long period of time. There are also thousands of conveyancers and administrative legal staff that process property transactions. These industries are critical and need to remain in operation. Right, the next section is economic stress of the actual industry, so of real estate. We are of the view that if real estate is not allowed to commence trading, then 70 to 80% of the industry may disappear along with it. Beg your pardon. We are of the view that if real estate is not allowed to commence trading, then 70 to 80% of the industry may disappear, along with it industries that rely on its existence as detailed above. Many agents in the industry have been without an income for 3 months already. The reality is that it takes months to get a home sold, from obtaining a mandate to selling a property, to marketing it and getting an offer, whereafter a home loan approval must be obtained, and thereafter having it processed by the deeds office. It is a lengthy process that can take up to 4 months to conclude. The closure of the deeds office also had the effect that some estate agents have not received any income since February. All real estate agents have been in lockdown for over a month, which means it has been near impossible to engage any new clients effectively and add any properties to their portfolio to sell. Should an estate agent manage to sell a property on the first day post-lockdown, it will likely be another 2 months at the earliest before they will receive commission. Estate agents are unable to claim UIF as they are full commission earners. The industry has already seen people exiting, and we believe that this will now accelerate at a rapid rate. Real estate firms under which they work will be forced to close and go out of business, and there will be much collateral damage in other ancillary industries as a result. So there we covered the 3 sections, which is how the government says they're ranking those sectors. But you can't just leave it there, you've got to provide some solutions. So here are some of the solutions we're recommending they apply. And that's the thing is, most of the people sitting there making the decisions don't know how to reintroduce some of the industries because they don't find themselves in those industries, or they're getting the wrong advice. So here's some of the solutions. We provide some suggested solutions below. In drawing these, we considered solutions that have been introduced in countries such as Australia, the United States of America, and New Zealand. New Zealand, similar to South Africa, has been a great example of how to approach this pandemic, both from a health point of view and responsibly from an economic standpoint. In the real estate sector, emergency regulations have been laid out to dictate how real estate agents may operate based on the different alert levels in place. We wish to share some of those suggestions with you below. For all the reasons raised above, we believe it is critical that some real estate activities be allowed to commence at level 4. The real estate professionals will be able to mitigate risk by implementing and adhering to the following strict regulations. So here are those regulations. So we've titled it Proposed Regulations and Guidelines for Residential Sales and Letting. Category 1, Open Homes and Private Viewings. No open homes or show houses will be allowed under level 4. We suggest that this should only be allowed under directives at level 2. Private viewings strictly by appointment only and with the consent of the client and property occupants. Estate agents will ensure that only buyers who are serious about making an offer on a property are in the process of making an offer are given a private viewing. The number of private viewings per day can also be limited to only 2 per day, and surfaces can be cleaned between viewings. Consider online viewing methods, virtual tours, video conferencing software, etc. where possible. Pre-registration and recording in a register of all private viewing attendees with the written consent of the person being captured in a declaration. The agent will capture a copy of the identity document, for example a photo, and record the physical address and phone numbers to assist with contact tracing. This register will contain details of the time, date, and address of the visit. All attendees to be emailed COVID-19 information beforehand, including hygiene expectations. Information to include instructions that the private viewing is contactless and surfaces cannot be touched by attendees. The agent wearing gloves will open any doors, cupboards, etc. on behalf of the attendees. Agents to open internal and external doors as appropriate beforehand to minimize risk of surface transmission. Property owners, occupants to leave premises during viewing where possible. 1 private viewing at a time. Viewings can be spaced sufficiently apart to allow for time for sanitizing after each viewing as required and to ensure that there is no contact between attendees. A maximum of 2 people from the attendee's family to attend a private viewing. Attendees to wait in their vehicles until agent advises they can enter to ensure that there is no contact between attendees. Only 1 agent to attend a private viewing. Shoes to be removed prior to entry. Physical distance of at least 2 meters to be maintained at all times. The agent to wear gloves and hand sanitizer to be available for use by all attendees entering and exiting the property. Keep private viewings very brief. No private viewings at properties where a person living at the property or has been in the property 14 days prior to the viewing is unwell or is self-isolating. Display COVID-19 information and hygiene notices at the property. Those feeling unwell, have traveled overseas recently, are self-isolating or have been in contact with a confirmed case of COVID-19 may not attend the viewing. High-risk people should consider not attending the viewing, i.e. those over 60 or those with other existing medical conditions. Afterwards, sanitize or use antibacterial wipes to wipe down areas attendees may have accidentally touched. Next section, appraisals or valuations and listings. Agents may visit the property to conduct an appraisal or evaluation. Agents must adhere to physical distancing. Do not attend property if the occupants have been overseas recently, are self-isolating, or have been in contact with a confirmed case of COVID-19 within the last 14 days. Only 1 agent to attend the property. Minimize time at the property. Minimize in-person contact with the client. Clients may take their own videos and photographs for listing purposes. If a photographer or videographer is attending the property, they must adhere to physical distancing, not attend the property if the occupants or buyer have been overseas recently, are self-isolating, or have been in contact with a confirmed case of COVID-19 within the last 14 days, or if they or anyone they have been in contact with have been a confirmed case of COVID-19 within the last 14 days. They should minimize their time at the property, minimize in-person contact with the clients. An agent must use virtual methods to share new listings with their colleagues. Right, contracts. Contracts should not be executed in person with the estate agent present. Contracts must be drawn up electronically and delivered to the client. Contracts can be explained and discussed using online technology. Signed contracts should be collected by the courier. Pre-settlement inspections and purchaser due diligence section. Where permitted through government sector classification, if a professional, for example, a building inspector, valuer, engineer, etc., is attending the property, they need to adhere to physical distancing, not attend property if occupants have been overseas recently, are self-isolating, or have been in contact with a confirmed case of COVID-19 within the last 14 days. They should limit number of persons at the property, minimize their time at the property, minimize in-person contact with clients. Purchasers should not attend the property with the professional, i.e. the inspector. We recommend they join by phone or video conference if they wish to. Agents who provide that professional with access to the property should wait outside or in one room in the house while the professional works. The contact details of any of these professionals visiting the property should be recorded together with the date they attended to assist with contact tracing. Ask the professional to sanitize areas they may have touched, or ask them to wear gloves, which can be disposed of immediately after the visit. Moving home. Clients moving home should be permitted in accordance with government regulations. Agents should arrange for sanitized keys to be provided with no physical contact between any party. Then, real estate offices. Workers must work from home where they can. Offices are to remain closed to the public. Display COVID-19 hygiene information and provide hand sanitizer. Remember, this is all under level 4, right? Ensure 2-meter physical distancing measures in place. And during level 4, minimize the number of people in office at any time to 1/3 of the workforce. So that was a mouthful. We're sending this now to Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, to Minister Patel, and to the relevant lockdown email address that was sent for letters like these to be considered. All this information was also sent to a group of 25 CEOs that form the EAPPC and form part of Robosa. I've said they must use as much or as little of this letter as they want to. It's up to them. But Remax will certainly be submitting this this morning. Cheers.